Ari Aster is one of them directors that are very interesting. He's interesting because when I first saw one of his projects, he made The Johnson Family on YouTube. And if you know what that movie is, then I don't need to speak on it. All I had to say is that movie is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen in my life, and that's my introduction to Ari Aster. After that, he's made Hereditary, Midsummer, A Beau is Afraid. All of them have a disturbing vibe to all the movies, and they're all good. Well, Hereditary and Midsummer were fantastic, iconic movies. Great performances, especially from Florence Pugh in Midsummer. Unforgettable performances, unforgettable story, and very crazy scenes that you will never forget. But he made this movie called Eddington, and Eddington is basically about the events that happened during COVID late in May 2020, and it stars Joaquin Phoenix, who plays Joe, a sheriff in the Eddington city that he's in, going up against Ted, who's played by Pedro Pascal, and they basically fighting for mayor because of a disagreement they have with the mask. And then there's a lot more to the story, but that's basically the premise of this movie. This movie's so controversial with everybody, and once I watched this movie, I finally figured out why. Now, first off, structurally, there's so many genres that's mixing together. You have a Western, obviously. You have horror. You have action. You have comedy. Like, Ari Aster is basically combining all these different types of genres and trying to make them into one, which works sometimes, and then other times it just confuses me because I'm trying to follow the story, and then it's like, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Does that make sense for that to happen? Okay, this is like really goofy compared to what it just happened a few minutes ago. Like, it's one of them movies where you either go with it or it's just going to make you conflicted and you're going to really dislike this movie. For me, I don't really dislike this movie. I thought this was very interesting, especially with the topics that they talk about here. Of course, like I said, they talk about COVID, everything that happened during that time. And it just reminded me how crazy that time was. It was just 5 years ago. A disease that we don't know about at the time as much. We don't know how dangerous it is. Everybody's just wearing masks, 6 feet apart, people going in without masks, and then just random people just kicking them out. Like, once you think about what happened 5 years ago, it was one of the craziest times that we had ever lived in. Like, it was really crazy. And the fact that this movie talks about it, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the trailer and they started talking about COVID-19, I kind of rolled my eyes because it's like, now we talking about it now, and it hasn't been that long since it happened. But then once you watch it, it's like, dang, that really happened back then. And they do it to like a goofy extent. Like, they go as far as to having a Looney Tunes type of chase scene with Joaquin Phoenix once you watch this movie. Like, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. And then another controversial thing that I guess people in the comments, you let me know if y'all think this as well. There's a lot of commentary about people of color and white people. The people of color are basically, Ari Aster, in my opinion, don't use them as like a MacGuffin or like a prop. It's more of how the white people react to the people of color during this time, because there's different types of white people that he just critiques. I was discussing this with my friend, and it made me realize, like, whoa, there are like different types of white people that you can see in this movie that you've seen during COVID-19. You have the white kid. I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm just going to go broad with it. You have the white kid who is being a part of the Black Lives Matter movement because of a lust he had for a girl, and then jealousy comes in and he becomes a right-wing grifter. You have the white girl, right, who's like a leftist, going to rallies, rioting, and is using a person of color to be on her side when she is privileged and she has all these things going for her. And then you have the racist white people, right? Who are like dumb as hell. That's just it with that. And then you have Pedro Pascal character as Ted, as this mayor. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but he gets accused of something. And then it's more open-ended if he did something or if he didn't. And it all depends on your view of what the movie is giving you. And that's all I'll say about that. And that's what really surprised me about this movie after I watched it, is how much critique it is about white people here. And now you'll see in like critics reviews saying, I don't know, it was a little touchy. I don't know, I get Ari Aster is using people of color, these black people or whatever, and it's kind of offensive. I'm like, he did just enough to not be offensive, in my opinion. I think he did a really good job showing the different things that happened in a wild way, but he does commentate carefully on what had happened during that time when it comes to the Black Lives Movement, All Lives Matter, everybody being a part of technology, the rise of it, and how it affected everybody in their view of the world. And that's what's really good about this movie, Eddington. What my conflict is, and I guess it's because it's the Ari Aster aesthetic, it's just that it is so goofy the way he does things. And you're like, huh? What? But I can see that it's more of, a dark comedy. That's what this is. And I had that confirmation during a scene with Joaquin Phoenix. And I'm not going to spoil it, but that's what I got into with this. But at the same time, I feel personally the genres don't mix, because even though some things were really funny, sometimes it's just a dud. Not with the comedy bits, but more of the action that happens and how it connects to the themes of what Ari Aster was trying to say in this movie. But at the same time, I do understand what he's talking about. I just don't know if... I don't know. There's... Some people would disagree with me, but I don't think you should watch it several times to understand what's going on. That's just like from an objective perspective. But to me, I guess it depends on what you will let go and what you wouldn't let go in this movie. And that's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know what grade I'll give it, but I will say I did like it more than Beau is Afraid. That's a good thing. It's part of that Hereditary, Midsummer, good side of Ari Aster, and I like that. And before I close this, I really love all the performances here. Joaquin Phoenix was great in this. It reminded me that he can put out a great performance every time he's on screen. Any type of movie, he will put on a performance. And Pedro Pascal as Ted, he was really good in this. He is having a solid year, especially with him being Mr. Fantastic. He's having a good year this year, and it seems like he's been in a lot of stuff, but it's because everything is just smushed in during June and now. And I feel like Pedro Pascal did a really good job. Is this black guy Michael? He was in this Jesus movie with Lakeith Stanfield. I was surprised he was in this. He was really good in this too. Emma Stone was great for a little bit she's in it. Austin Butler was good as this cultish Jared Leto type of person that's trying to influence people. And then the most surprising thing in this movie was Penguin's mom is in this movie. And I was surprised. I was like, is that Penguin's mom here? As the mother-in-law? I was like, okay. I didn't know she was in this. It was perfect. Overall, I really like the themes that Ari Aster puts out here. I like the action that he lays out for the most part. And it has, like I said, it has themes that make you think. But at the same time, I can understand people watching this and just rolling their eyes at, we're going back to talking about COVID. We're past that. We're trying to move on. But I think as time moves on, and it's like a few years from now, and they watch this movie, they'll be like, this was really solid, and it reflected on how crazy the times were when everybody has to go inside. All the streets are deserted, and the rules and regulations were crazy at that time. So I would say this: if you love Ari Aster in his movies, you'll love this movie. If you're still rolling your eyes at the COVID stuff, I would probably not watch this. I would, forget about the movie, and then once you see it in streaming, you'll be like, hey, I'll check it out. And then they start talking about this stuff, and you're finally like letting go of what's happening in the past. You'll be like, this was an interesting movie. So yeah, I think it was solid. This was not bad in my opinion. Everything was executed well. It was a little too long, but I can let that go because of what he's trying to tie in with all the themes and topics he's trying to talk about here. And I thought he did a solid job. So Eddington 2 he should not do. I'm sorry. He shouldn't do Eddington 2. I heard about that before I did this video, and he shouldn't do that. So that's my opinion. Thought it was solid. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this movie. Good or bad. It don't matter. So all right, y'all. Peace.